Okay. So, in fact, some older JVMs. So, in fact, for some older JVMs, the main thread finishes before a child thread has completed. Then Java runtime system may hang. See, actually, in case of multi-threaded programming, so when we have multi-threaded programs, that is many part of the program. So in that case, so in a multi-threaded programming, often the main thread must be the last thread to finish running. See, you look at this output where we have exiting child thread and where we have main thread exiting. So this message indicates child thread finished its execution first, then main thread completed its execution. So that means the main thread must be the last thread to finish running. Okay, this is the important point. Main thread will be the last thread to finish running. But in fact, for some older JVMs, that means older versions of Java virtual machine softwares, if the main thread finishes before a child thread has completed, then the Java runtime system may hang. Okay, so it depends on the JVM. So in case of some older JVMs, if the main thread finishes before child, actually main thread should complete last. So child thread should complete first. Okay, this is the way how it executes. The above program ensures that main thread finishes last, but the main thread sleeps for 1000 milliseconds between iterations, but the child thread sleeps for only 500 milliseconds. This causes the child thread to terminate earlier than the main thread. Okay, see, look here. So in the above program, so if you look at the for loop of main program, okay, if you look at the for loop of main program, so main thread will sleep for 1000 milliseconds. 1000 milliseconds means 1 second, 1 second delay in execution of this for loop. So there is 1 second delay. And in case of child thread, if you look at the for loop of child thread, here there is 500 milliseconds. That means half second delay. Okay. So if that is the case, so what they're telling, see, the above program ensures that main thread finishes last because main thread sleeps for 1000 milliseconds between iterations, but the child thread sleeps only for 500 milliseconds. That means 1 second and half second. This causes child thread to terminate earlier than the main thread. So this is about the program. Now, extending thread. So extending thread means, see, we have two methods of creating a thread. So this is the first method what we saw here. See, this is the first method. Class new thread implements runnable. That means if I want to create a new thread by using runnable interface, so I have to write this statement. Class new thread. New thread is the class name. Implements keyword we have to use for interfaces. Okay, so runnable is the interface. So this is the way we create the thread by using runnable interface. Now, if I want to use thread class and create my own thread, that means class new thread extends thread. So thread is the class name which is from the Java class library. Okay. See, you just look at the heading. Here is the preceding program rewritten to extend the thread. Output will be same here. Concept is same. Only thing is you look at the first line. Class new thread extends thread. So this line indicates we have created a thread by using thread class. Thread class means thread will be the super class. Okay. New thread will be the subclass. Next, what we do. So, so when I start this opening brace, what you can think is like starting a new thread here. See, create a new second thread. Okay, create a new second thread. So this super keyword indicates it will call the constructor of the super class. So here super class is the thread class. The subclass is the new thread class. Okay, it will call the super class. So when it calls this super class constructor, that is thread class constructor, so we will pass one parameter, that is string parameter, that is demo thread. Okay, so system.println child thread. This means it is a pointer actually. In case of C++, we come across this pointer or this keyword, which indicates the current object. So current object in the sense here we can consider the second thread, that is child thread. So here thread we should consider child thread as an object. Okay. See, in Java everything is an object concept. Exception is an object. Thread is an object. Okay, like that. Applet is an object. So here also this pointer indicates object. So which object? Child thread object you can consider. Okay. Next, start. Start indicates to start the thread. So which thread we have to start? Child thread we have to start. Okay. So first thing, we have to create a thread by using the constructor super of, that is super keyword, that is constructor of super class, that is thread class. Then just to display the information of the thread, then start the thread. Okay, once thread is started, so how we have to think is like it will not immediately start executing. So it will be in runnable state. Runnable state means ready to start, ready to execute its execution path. Okay, that means this function should start working immediately, but it will be ready. Okay, it doesn't start immediately, it will be ready. So this is the entry point for the second thread. So this method starts working now. Okay, so now in case of main method, same thing. Say in main method we have for loop. Okay, and in child thread we have for loop. So this run method indicates to run the thread what we have created. Okay, to run the thread what we have created, that is child thread. Okay, and this for loop indicates what is present in the main program. This for loop indicates the for loop which begins to main thread. So here you have to consider two threads here, main thread and child thread. So one for loop belongs to main thread, another for loop belongs to child thread. Now what happens? These two for loops simultaneously executes. Okay, so that means program control will be in these two for loops simultaneously. Say if suppose if one time this for loop is executed means second time this for loop will be executed. Second time in the sense it may execute two times. Then again it will come to the for loop, this will execute one time, again it will go to this for loop, two times it will execute. Same in the previous case how it is executed. So if the for loop in the main thread executes one time means for loop in the child thread will execute two times, because you look at this line, thread dot sleep of 1000 milliseconds means here 1 second delay. So if there is 1 second delay, so within that 1 second child thread will execute two times. Okay, that means this for loop will execute two times. Okay, now in the main program, new thread, new is a keyword. New thread means it's a it's a constructor, that is it's a constructor of the class what we have created. Okay, so here what they're telling, this program generates the same output as the preceding version, because you look at the for loop in the main thread, okay, and for loop in the child thread. Okay, same thing we have used in the previous program. What we have used, same thing we have used. So that means for loop in the main program, that is in the main thread. So it will sleep for 1000 milliseconds, that is 1 second. So within that 1 second, this for loop will execute two times. So only you should consider same output. So this is the output. Difference is in the previous program, you have to look at the first line, how we have written class new thread implements runnable. So in this way we have written, okay, runnable interface we have used. But in the next program, that is in this program, I have not used runnable interface, I have used the thread class. So there are two ways of creating a thread. One is by using runnable interface, another by using thread class. Okay, so rest everything is same. Okay, so this program generates the same output as the preceding version. In the above program, the child thread is created by instantiating an object of new thread, which is derived from the thread. So notice to the call, these things we'll see what it is. Notice the call to super keyword inside new thread. This invokes the following form of thread constructor. See, public thread string thread name. See, whenever we come across a super keyword, it will call the super class constructor. See, in this program only you can know which is super class and which is subclass. If you look at this first line, you will come to know. So class new thread. So new thread is the subclass. That means the class what we are writing. After extends keyword, whatever the class name you are using, that is nothing but the superclass. Okay. So here, if I use a super keyword, so this will call the super class constructor, right? So that is thread class constructor. So when it calls the thread class constructor, you have to consider this. This is the constructor. Okay, thread. Within that one parameter is there. That parameter belongs to string type. So only if you observe this line, that is super of demo thread. So why did I use this word means? Because I have to pass one string here. String parameter I have to pass as an argument. Okay. Next, here thread name specifies the name of the thread. Okay. Then creating multiple threads. So creating multiple. So our program can span as many threads it needs. For example, the following program creates 3 child threads. So in the previous class, we have come across the doubt whether we can create multiple threads or not. Yes, we can create. So in this program, it is there. So we will see how to create multiple threads. So multiple threads in the sense, multiple execution paths we can consider, because one thread means one execution path. So multiple threads means multiple execution path. Those execution paths, that means those program controls will execute at a time. Okay. Say, for example, if we don't use the multi-threaded programming concept, what happens? You see, now we have 2 for loops, right? So this for loop you consider in the run method. Okay. Method name is run. Okay. And this for loop you consider in the main method. Now, if there is no multi-threaded concept means, so if there is no multi-threaded concept means, what happens? Out of these 2 for loops, one for loop will execute at a time. For example, if you consider main for loop which is present in the main program is working means for loop in the run method will not work. Will not work in the sense it will work, but not simultaneously. Okay, like that we should understand. If there is no multi-threaded programming concept, because this for loop is in the run method. Okay, and this for loop is in the main method. See, when we considered code in the different methods, so till until multi-threaded programming chapter we reached, when we considered code in 2 methods, we did not see two codes are executing simultaneously, right? If you consider this for loop, until and unless this for loop completes its execution, so this for loop will not execute. Or if this for loop until it completes its execution, this for loop will not execute. Like that, at a time, one for loop we can consider. One for loop in the sense any code, but one code which is present in particular method. But in multi-threaded programming concept, what happens? See, for loop is present in main method, for loop is present in child thread, that is run method. These 2 for loops execute simultaneously. So that's the interesting thing about multi-threaded programming. Program control will be in this for loop, which is in the main method, as well as program control will be in run method, which is in run method. Okay. So like that, simultaneously both starts executing. So how we can achieve that concept means by this line only, thread.sleep. So we are making main thread, that is program control, which is present in the for loop of main method, to sleep for 1 second. So within that 1 second, this the for loop which is present in the run method will execute 2 times. So after executing, that means after 1 second, again the program control will come to this for loop. Okay, so one more time it will execute. It will execute and it will sleep for 1 second. So 1 second it will not work. So within that 1 second, this run method for loop will execute. So in this way, multiple program control flow will be present in the program. So that is called as multi-threaded programming. So now in the similar way, can we create more threads? That means more program control flow. In the previous 2 programs, we have saw only 2. That is main thread, child thread. Now here we see our program can span. Span means extend. Okay. Still boundary can be increased. Span in the sense boundary can be increased. Can span as many threads it needs. For example, the following program creates 3 child threads. So we'll see how it is created in this program. So we'll go for the main method directly. See, new keyword, new thread. New thread means it is a class name which we have created. It is not present in the Java class library which we have created. So new thread of 1. So I am passing the string as 1, ONB1. So whenever we write the string in the parameter in the parenthesis, then it is parameterized constructor. Now we have to look at this constructor. So this constructor is present in this class only. So class new thread implements runnable. Yes, it is present. New thread, string, thread name. We just look at the constructor. So new thread is the constructor because class name and method name is same, and one parameter is there, string the thread name. So for this, I need the thread name. So that thread name is first time we are considering it as 1. Okay, ONE, 1 is the thread name. So what happens? So whenever program control comes to this particular constructor, you can consider this thread name as, like this. 1, like this you can consider. Okay, thread name as 1. So when program control comes to this particular constructor. Okay, next. So when the next line in the main program is executed, new thread of 2. So this constructor will be called again. Okay, this constructor starts working. So you should consider it as 2. Okay. So before second thread is created, what happens? You just see. Now we'll consider first thread is created. That the thread name is 1. Okay. In the constructor, you just see. So this thread name, this the parameter value thread name will be assigned to the name. So I can consider like name is equals to ONE, like the second consider. Name is equals to ONE. That means thread name is 1. And T is equals to, just a minute, T is equals to new thread of this comma name. So here thread is a constructor of the Java class library. Okay. Here I have not used super keyword, you observe. I didn't use super keyword. Directly I am calling the constructor thread from the Java class library because this is not a subclass. Here now it is not a subclass because if I use the line like, instead of implements runnable, if I use the line like extends thread, in that way we can consider it is a super class, but have not used this line extends thread. So this is not a subclass now. Understood? So this is not a subclass. So only I have to use constructor like this only. So if it is a subclass, I would have used, instead of writing this much, I would have used like super, like this I would have used. But it is not a subclass now. So I have to use like T is equals to new thread of this comma name. Okay. Now wherever you use T, it will display the child thread name. Now child thread is nothing but 1. You should consider child thread as 1. Next, T dot start means this thread is started. Okay, this whatever the thread we have created is started. In order to remember which is the thread, you just remember this word 1, only 1. Okay, this is the thread. So this will be started. See, whenever we use the start method, remember whenever we use the start method, program control will execute run method. So that is how it is linked. So start method will start the run method like that. Okay, when start method is executed, when t dot start is executed, run method starts executing. Now, how we have to understand is immediately when t dot start is executed, run method will not execute. Okay, immediately when t dot start is executed, run method will not execute because what it will do, first it will move all threads to runnable state. Runnable state means ready to run. Okay, not actually running. It is in the runnable state. Best example is how we can consider like in the running race. All the players will ready to run. Okay, but they have not started running. Like that we can understand. So at this crease, they will be okay ready to run like that. First one thread is created. It will come in the runnable state ready to run. Second thread will be created and the thread name will become TWO. So it will be in the runnable state. That is T dot state means it will be ready to run. Again, third thread will be created. Its name will be THRE3. So it will be in the running state, that is ready to run. So 3 threads will be ready to run. So final thread you can consider like THRE, that is 3. That means when these 3 lines are executed. So first thread will become in the runnable state, that is ready to run. Second thread in the runnable state, ready to run. Third thread in the runnable state, ready to run. Like that we have to consider. Okay. Next. So here we will see the output. So once we see the output, we will come to know how we can edit. Because here diagrammatically I have not shown program control. Within program and output only we can understand. Okay, now see whenever threads are created, see after execution of these 3 lines, first thread will be created, second thread will be created, third thread will be created. After 3 threads are created, all the 3 threads comes in the runnable state. That means ready to run, but not running, ready to run. So in that case, how we can consider these 3 lines of output. So these 3 lines of output from where we are getting in the constructor. You just see this constructor. Okay. Println statement is there. New thread T. So new thread T means it will display the thread name priority group. So in the first program we saw thread name priority group. Okay, you just see here. Thread name 1, priority is 5, group is main. About group later I will tell you. Just you remember group name is 1 main. Next, second line, thread name is TWO2, priority is 5, group name is main. Next, thread name is 3, priority is 5, group name is main. That means immediately when thread is created, it will display the information of the thread. New thread, that is 1 thread name, 5 priority, main is the group name, 2 thread name, 5 priority, main is the thread name, 3 priority, 5 is the priority, sorry, 3 thread name, 5 is the priority, main is the group name. Like it will display status of the threads. Okay. Next. So we'll come back to the main thread. Okay. Now how we can consider, like first thread what we have created is ONE 1, second thread is 2, third thread is 3. Now all are in runnable state, ready to run. One by one it starts executing. So first thread, if first thread starts working, you should consider this run method. See, whenever we consider thread is working, thread starts working, then you should consider run method. Okay. So when you consider the run method, we should come to know whether which thread is executing. Okay, we should come to know. In order to do that, what you will do, like you see, here name is there, name variable. Okay, so from where we have considered name variable, just a minute. You see, from this we have considered name is equals to thread name. So whenever you say name is equals to thread name, when first time this constructor is executed, it will consider name is equals to ONE. Just try to understand here. Name is equals to ONE. So when first time this constructor is executed. Next, when second time it is executed, name is equals to TWO. Okay. Next, when third time it is executed, so name is equals to THREE, just to differentiate between the 3 threads. Okay, like this. So thread name will be 1, thread name will be 2, thread name will be 3. So when you consider thread name as 1, that is the first thread, that name will be displayed here. Understood? That name will be displayed, ONE. Okay. So when it is displayed, same thing we'll get in the output, ONE:5. That is, first thread started working. First thread started working. Okay. Next. So similarly, next thread executes, because it is also in the running state now. All the 3 threads will be in the runnable state, right? So each one, see, for example, if after this line is executed, next line what I have written, thread dot sleep of 1000 milliseconds. So 1000 milliseconds means what? 1 second. Okay. Now you just try to understand. See here, name is equals to 1. You should consider name is equals to 1. Okay. After executing first thread, 1 second it will sleep. 1 second it will not work. Okay. This for loop, 1 second it will not work, which is with respect to first thread. Next, during that 1 second, okay, second thread starts working. Now you should consider name is equals to TWO. I hope you people are getting. Okay, 3 threads are there, 1, 2, and 3. So when first time when run method is executed, first thread will be executed. So that you have to consider ONE. So it prints 1:5. So after printing 1:5, first thread will sleep for 1 second. So during that time, what happens? Second thread will execute. So second thread means the word is TWO. So 2, 5. It starts from for loop 5 only. Okay. Next, after execution of second thread, again 1 second delay. So during that 1 second, third thread will start executing. THREE. So only I said this for loop belongs to 3 threads. Remember, this for loop belongs to 3 threads. ONE, TWO, THREE. 3 threads it belongs. So first time this for loop which belongs to thread 1 will be executed. Second time to thread 2. Third time to thread 3. So how we can execute 3 threads simultaneously means, after execution of this println statement, what we have to do? We have to make the thread to sleep for at least 1 second. So if you make the thread to sleep for 1 second, second thread will be executed. Again, this line is executed, it will sleep for 1 second, third thread will be executed. So in this way, this for loop continues its execution for all the 3 threads, okay, making each thread to sleep for 1 second. So when it sleeps for 1 second, during that 1 second, second thread, third thread will be executed. So only you see output 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5. Next 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4. Next 2, 3, 3, 3, 1, 3. Just a minute. So here what happens, whenever we consider multi-threaded programming, when I say thread to sleep for 1 second, sleep in the sense those threads will move to the runnable states. Runnable is like blocked state, you just consider. I think people might have, like this. See here. You should consider this diagram. Running state to suspended state. Whenever we call the sleep method, from running state to, it will come to the suspended state. Suspended means not completely stopped. For a time being, it will stop. Okay. For a time being, the thread stops working. So when it stops working for a time being, afterwards, when it comes to the runnable state, then only it will come to the running state. Okay. So whichever thread comes first to the runnable state, those threads will be executed first. First come, first serve man. So only you just look at the diagram. You see, just you look at this diagram. See how you look at the right side of the diagram. Out of 3 threads, we will not come to know which thread comes first. So it is like a processor giving time for the threads, which we will not come to know. So whichever thread comes first here in this queue, that thread will come to the running state afterwards. Okay, whichever comes first here. So only we can see variation in the output. We just say see in this program, you can see variation in the output. What happens? First 2 times it executed normally. So 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4. Afterwards, what happens? See, suddenly second thread and third thread worked. Then we can consider the first thread. Next, again second, third thread. Then first thread. Next, again third thread, first, second, like this. Because some variations happens. Because out of 3 threads, we will not come to know which thread comes in the queue first. So whichever thread comes in the queue first, that thread will be given the running state. That means starts executing. But 3 threads simultaneously will be executing. Some variations will happen sometimes. Okay. During 1 second delay, which thread comes first, we will not come to know. It's like that. Okay. Okay. See, you see main thread, very interesting here. See what we have done for main thread. So this is the main thread, right? In the main thread, what I have done, 10,000 milliseconds I have used. Okay. Why did I use 10,000 milliseconds? Means 10-second delay I should need. I will make the main thread to sleep for 10 seconds. Understood? If 10 seconds, if main thread stops working for 10 seconds, during that 10 seconds, all the 3 threads will finish their working. So only they are making to sleep for 10 seconds. If at all, here also, if I make only 1000 seconds to sleep, so after executing first thread, program control may again come to main thread, again it will go for the second thread, again it will come for the main thread, again it will go for 3 threads, third thread, it will come for the main thread. So this should not happen because we will not come to know. That means we will not come to know exactly how it is working. So it will be a little bit confusion. What we do, we will make main thread to sleep for 10 seconds. During that 10 seconds, let these 3 threads execute simultaneously. Giving a time slot, giving a time gap between 3 threads, 1 second delay. Okay. So after 10 seconds, the program control will come to the main thread. Okay. So now you see. When it comes to the main thread, actually this line should be executed, main thread exiting. But what happens? See, previously only I said in this line, that is in this program. You just look at this line, very important. In a multi-threaded program, often the main thread must be the last thread to finish running. So, however situation it will be, main thread should finish last. That means it should exit last. So only if you look at the output here, if you look at the output, see, in these 3 threads, 2 exiting, 3 exiting, 1 exiting means first all the 3 threads finish its working. Okay, finish those working. At last main thread will exit. So in this way we can understand. Okay. So we have created 3 threads in this program. 3 threads simultaneously starts working, but in between, in some cases, what happens, depending on the threads in queue, first come first serve manner, so it starts working. So only you can see some variation in the output here. Okay, and at the end, main thread will be the last to work to stop its working. So some explanation is there. We'll see here. So in the above program, once started, all the all the 3 child threads share the CPU. Notice the call to the sleep of 10,000 in main. This causes main thread to sleep for 10 seconds and ensures that it will finish last. So why we are making 10 seconds to sleep? Because all the 3 child threads will execute, finish their working. Then it comes to the main thread. Main thread will be the last thread to finish working. Okay. Okay. I will execute this program in the editor. Before that, if you have any doubts, you can ask.